Every application requires a certain level of environment-specific configuration. Think about it. This could be anything from, is my application currently in debug mode? Or what database name are we connecting to? Or what is the mail host and port that we're using? Or it could even be things like special keys and secrets and tokens that third-party services provide you. So anything, by the way, anything like that should always go in your env file. And here's why. If I open up my project and go to my .gitignore file, you will see a reference to .env, which means that file should not be under version control. We never want to push up secret passwords and tokens for the rest of the world to see. So the basic idea is you declare them once in this file that is private, and then your application will never reference the values specifically. Instead, the application references the keys that point to the values. Okay, so if that's a little confusing, have a look here. I'm going to open my configuration directory, and here's all the configuration for my project. So in this chapter, we are working with databases. So we'll have a look at database, and yeah, right up here at the top, this is our database connection name. We could use MySQL, we could use SQLite. So you'll see Laravel's using this env function. And in fact, it's referenced throughout all of these configuration files for the very reason we talked about. So in this case, let's scroll back up. It's trying to figure out, did you define something for DB connection? And if you didn't, it's going to default to MySQL. Let's have a look. DB connection. And yeah, out of the box, it defaults to MySQL. So we're going to use MySQL. But if I want to switch over to another supported connection driver, I could change it to SQLite, and now my project's using SQLite. How cool is that? So I think you get the basic idea. So now, why don't we set up our database connection and the database, and then we'll be up and running. Okay. Notice out of the box, Laravel assumes some sensible defaults. You're going to use MySQL. You're connecting to localhost, the port 3306, very common. It assumes a database name equal to your project name, which is cool. But again, name it anything you want. And then finally, it assumes your username is root and your password is blank, which is very common for local development. Okay, so I will open my terminal. Now you should have MySQL installed, but if not, go ahead and pull that in. And then we can connect. Username is root, blank password. And we're in. Now, again, in PHP Storm, database name of blog, that works for me. Create database blog. And then I will hit Control D to exit out. So now, come along for the ride, because we're going to talk about this quite a bit more in the next episode. We're going to run PHP Artisan and then a command called migrate. Aha, notice it migrates these files and they look like tables. Let's have a look. Let's go back. MySQL root, no password. I'm going to use my blog database, and then let's show all the tables. And it should be blank, but it's not, because we ran that command that executed all pending migrations in our application. And out of the box with Laravel, you get a few, like a users table, a password resets table, and a failed jobs table. Now, we're going to talk quite a bit more about migrations in the next episode. So for now, let's finish up by switching over to a GUI. You could use something like Table Plus, or SQL Pro, or MySQL Workbench, or whatever you want. But I do recommend Table Plus. It's really good, and there are applications for Mac and Windows. Okay, so go ahead and install that. Here's what mine looks like, and we will go ahead and connect. MySQL. We'll give it a name like local. And then the default host, localhost, the default port, 3306. Again, notice this matches up here and here. Anyways, the username is root, the password is blank. If we want to immediately connect to a database, we do in this case. I will give it the name, and let's go ahead and test it. We get green. So let's save that as a bookmark, and now I can double-click to access my database. Awesome. So in the next episode, let's keep going.